The hidden hand of market forces, unveiling the unseen influences that shape business success in the dynamic world of business. Market conditions are often seen as the result of visible forces: supply, demand, competition, and consumer behavior. But beneath these visible trends lies something more elusive, more subtle: the hidden hand of market forces. Like an invisible current shaping the flow of a river, these unseen influences, supply, demand, politics, culture, and even the unspoken beliefs of a society, silently guide market conditions in ways that many overlook. To succeed, you must learn to see not just what is in front of you but what moves beneath the surface. Just as the ancient philosopher Plato spoke of the world of forms, where the physical world is only a reflection of deeper truths, so too are market conditions a reflection of underlying forces that often go unnoticed. These forces can seem intangible: government policies, cultural shifts, technological trends, but they are the real drivers behind the success or failure of businesses. To understand and leverage these hidden forces is to unlock a level of insight that goes beyond surface-level analysis. It is about recognizing the patterns that shape the market, reading the invisible currents, and positioning yourself to succeed in a world that is in constant flux. At the heart of market forces lies the invisible law of supply and demand, a fundamental concept in economics, but one that is often misunderstood or taken for granted. Supply and demand are not simply numbers on a chart. They are living forces, constantly evolving based on human needs, desires, and behaviors. But what many fail to see is that these forces are deeply influenced by a range of unseen factors, from psychological trends to geopolitical events, that shape consumer perception and behavior. Take the smartphone industry as an example. The surge in demand for smartphones in the 2000s wasn't just a product of technological advancement. It was a reflection of deeper cultural and psychological needs: an increasingly connected world, the desire for convenience, and the need for status symbols in a digital age. The supply of smartphones evolved not just to meet demand but to anticipate the emotional and cultural needs of consumers. Economist John Maynard Keynes spoke of animal spirits, the emotions and instincts that drive consumer behavior and, by extension, economic markets. The hidden hand of market forces is not just about cold logic, it's about understanding the emotional and psychological drivers that fuel demand. When you learn to see supply and demand not as static numbers but as dynamic, living forces influenced by culture, technology, and sentiment, you gain a competitive edge. Politics may seem like an external factor to business, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful hidden hands shaping market forces. Government policies, regulations, and international relations all influence market conditions in ways that are not always immediately visible. These political forces act as both enablers and constraints on supply and demand, affecting everything from trade routes to interest rates. Consider the US-China trade war, which significantly disrupted global supply chains. Businesses that relied on Chinese manufacturing suddenly faced higher tariffs and logistical challenges. But those who could see beyond the immediate disruption and anticipate the political shifts, those who could navigate the hidden hand of geopolitics, found ways to adapt, shifting production to other countries or renegotiating supplier contracts. A Deloitte study found that 56% of CEOs believe that political instability is one of the top risks to business growth, yet only 40% have strategies in place to mitigate these risks. Recognizing the unseen influence of political power dynamics is critical to staying ahead. The hidden hand of politics is not just about policy changes, it's about understanding the broader power structures that influence market conditions. Leaders who stay attuned to shifts in political landscapes, who anticipate regulatory changes, and who build relationships with key policymakers can use these invisible forces to their advantage, positioning their businesses for resilience and growth. While supply, demand, and politics are critical to market forces, culture is one of the most underestimated yet powerful hidden hands. Culture shapes consumer behavior in ways that are often subtle but profound. From the way people perceive brands to their buying habits, culture informs the why behind consumer decisions. Think of the rise of sustainability as a cultural force. A few decades ago, green products were a niche market. Today, they are a dominant trend. Companies like Patagonia and Tesla have not just tapped into this trend, they have helped shape it by aligning their brand identity with cultural values around sustainability and environmental responsibility. According to Nielsen, 73% of global consumers say they would definitely or probably change their consumption habits to reduce their environmental impact. This statistic reflects the hidden hand of culture at work, influencing demand and shaping the trajectory of entire industries. Leaders who understand the power of culture recognize that it is not static. Cultural values shift with time, and businesses must stay agile and responsive to these changes. In many ways, culture acts as a long-term, invisible force that directs the flow of market conditions. Whether it's the demand for authenticity, the rise of social responsibility, or the influence of digital nomadism, businesses that align with cultural currents position themselves to lead, not follow. Another crucial aspect of the hidden hand of market forces is technology. While technology itself is often visible, smartphones, cloud computing, automation, the deeper influence it exerts on market conditions is not always apparent. Technology shapes the infrastructure upon which modern markets operate, from the algorithms that drive stock markets to the data analytics that inform business decisions. The rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning is a perfect example. AI doesn't just create new tools, it changes the very fabric of how businesses operate and compete. According to Gartner, by 2025, AI will influence 85% of customer interactions. But the true influence of AI is less about the visible products and more about the hidden systems it creates, systems that shape how data is processed, how decisions are made, and how businesses compete in the marketplace. To succeed, businesses must not only adopt technology but understand the deeper currents it creates. The leaders who master this hidden hand of market forces, who see beyond the tech hype to the structural shifts technology brings, are the ones who will harness its full potential. From a spiritual perspective, the hidden hand of market forces also speaks to the interconnectedness of all things. As the Hermetic principle of correspondence teaches, as above, so below. Just as unseen forces shape the flow of energy in the universe, so too do unseen forces shape the flow of markets. Leaders who operate with integrity, who align their business practices with values of honesty, fairness, and purpose, are better able to navigate these forces because they are in tune with the underlying harmony of the marketplace. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." In business, this translates to understanding that the hidden hand of market forces is not something to be feared but something to be embraced. When you understand the deeper forces, whether they be political, cultural, or technological, you can move with the flow rather than against it. The hidden hand of market forces is at work in every business decision, every market trend, and every shift in consumer behavior. Leaders who can see beyond the visible, who understand the deeper, often unseen forces at play, will position themselves to thrive in any market condition. Whether it's the dynamics of supply and demand, the influence of politics, the power of culture, or the hidden infrastructure of technology, understanding these forces allows you to anticipate change and adapt with agility. Business success is not just about reacting to visible trends, it's about perceiving the invisible currents that shape those trends. By tapping into these deeper forces and aligning your strategies with them, you can not only navigate the complexities of today's market but also create lasting, meaningful growth.